good morning to the examiner. I'm Owanchi and my supervisor is Madam Lizawati bin Yusuf. Today, I want to present about my FYP topic, which is Industrial Machinery Renting Application. First of all, I would like to introduce the company that support me for doing this project. It's Pinnacle Genius Sendiri Berhad. This is a company that has been established in Malaysia in 2016 and is wholly owned by Bumi Putra. The service they provided by it is already summarizing in this table. The high rider services that I want to mention and related with my FYP is clamp and bonding service they provided by Pinnacle Genius. In this service, Pinnacle Genius work as the agents or supplier to promote the renting machine for his customer. Next, this is the organization chart of Pinnacle Genius. From this chart, we get to know it has the 5 main employees that is summarizing in here. And this is the simple current system workflow of the renting machinery that implemented by Pinnacle Genius. And this is the scenario diagram that summarizing more detail the action of each actor in the process of renting machinery. For example, the director actor inside here. The Pinnacle Genius director will getting the call for the customer to request the renting machinery. After he getting the information of the requirement of customer, he will checking the storage of the company. If the storage of the company cannot fulfill the requirement of the customer, only that he will contact with the supplier for asking the renting price and then inform his customer. Once the customer decided to rent, he will deliver the machinery to customer and request the payment with the customer. He will making the transaction to the rental company if he have cooperate with them. And what is the problem they facing in current system? The first problem is the lack of the information of renter. As my stakeholder Mr. Asa mentioned, he need to spend more money to deliver the machinery from Johor to Selangor when he received the project in Selangor. This is because he lacked the information about the renter which staying in Selangor. And normally, the information of the renter is only displayed or showing on their official website. And different renter or renting company have their own official website. Therefore, you need to take a very long time to searching all the necessary information about the renter, which nearer with him. But sometimes the information they're searching will also be the older ones, so he hopes they have a uniform and up-to-date system or application that can collect all the information about the renter and it can filter up the renter that is nearer with him. The second problem they're facing by Mr. Asa is fluctuations of renting machinery price. Most of the renting machinery system nowadays is limited and not show the detail about the renting price. This cause he cannot maintain the renting price of his company. This is because some supplier also will getting the different renting price with the same module of the machines. If the system or application have the least detail about the renting price, can be easily for him or his customer to do the comparison and choosing the more value decision. Lastly, the problem that facing by him, the problem that facing by mostly renter is to bundle the higher maintenance and repair fee for those machines and not used frequently in a year. Thus, he hope have the platform they can use by every renter to show their renting machine in order to promote their market for this kind of business. Therefore, the aim of this project is to develop an online platform that able to spread out the renting industrial machinery process and is bring the benefit for renter and customer. The benefit they can get for the customer is getting reliable information about renter and renting company. For the renter, they can use the application to promote the market for their business. The scope of this project is customer of Pinnacle Genius neighborhood, and the second one is only focused for customer and renter user, and the last one is does not including the payment gateway. After studying, they have a few of the similar system. They have been providing this kind of renting service, which is live inventory and TTL sales and renting company and EP engineering company, and the last one will be the trade apps. And the proposed applications have instant ordering system for the customer to pay the order directly with the renter, and here also contain the comparison list of the renting price for the customer. Besides that, it has notification functionality for the customer and renter in order to notice them the state of the order and the state of the payment. It also has the efficient managing system for record all the personal information of renter and customer and record the detail of the order and payment for the Pinnacle Genius. He also applies some security measurement they will be discussing in the further slide. This is a compare table between the proposed system and similarity system. And the system developer of this project is divided into the 5 phase, which is the planning phase, analysis phase, designing phase, implementation phase, and the last one will be the testing and accepting phase. For PSM1, we will focusing on the 3 phase in front in here, that which is the planning phase, analysis phase, and designing phase. In the planning phase, I have meeting with the stakeholder in order to study his field in order to understand his field of business and studying the current system of them. In the analysis phase, I had interview section with the Pinnacle Junior director and do some market survey with Pinnacle Junior customer in order to identify their requirement and expectation for this. For designing phase, I using the UML diagram to declare all the design of the front end and using the ERD diagram to conclude the designing of back end. For implementation phase, I prefer to use the React Native to develop the front end and MongoDB for developer for the back end. For testing and accepting phase, I prefer to use the user accepting test in order to record the phase. This is the system requirement that I was using for developing this application. For OS, I was using the Windows 10, And for CPU, I will using AMD, and one graphical card is Reno R5. And for the RAM, I will using 4 GB. For the hard disk, I have the 500 GB, and one is 128 GB. And I also will use the mouse and keyboard as the input device, using the monitor and smartphone as the output device. For the web browser, I will using the Google Chrome and Firefox and something else. The technology and the software that I will use for OS will be the Windows 10, and for application development will be the Visual Studio Code, Android Studio, MongoDB, and Node.js. For documentation, I will using the Google Sheet, Google Docs, and Draw.io, C Chart, and Mandarin. For the image editor, I will using the SD. And this is the network and security element that implement in these applications. I using the cloud technology to storage all the personal information about the renter and customer. And I also will using the email automate technology as the network element to automate sending the receipt to customer. The security element that I will use is login verifications, which is OTP authorization to make sure the registered user is the real user. And I also will implement data encryptions. This is because the MongoDB that I use as the backend software, it has supporting the TLC transaction layers security and the secure socket layer to encrypt the network traffic. And I also will doing the input output validations as a security element to ensure the improper input from the user to exit into the backend. And I also implement the exit control for the user who authentication to exit the backend. And I also will implement the password hashing to storage the hashing value of password instead of the reliable password. This is the overall use case diagram. This is a sequential diagram for sign in and sign up. And this is the activity diagram for the admin for checking the state of order and payment. And this is the class diagram for this application. And for here we can saw the render class and the machinery class is dependency with each other, and the machinery class and the order class is independency with each other. And this is the system architecture diagram. That from here we can knowing all the network element and security element that I explained just now more clearly inside this diagram. And the cloud diagram is the network element, and the email automations is also the network element that providing for the customer and renter. And this is the ERD diagram for designing backend. And this is the interface of sign out and sign in. And this is the main page for different user. And this is the interface of machine detail and payment. And this is the interface for renter accepting and complete the order. And this is the interface for admin to checking the order and payment state. So now let me proceed to the demonstration of industrial machinery application.